Very well. We're speaking with Michael Weikath, who is one of the founding members of Helloween. How are you this wonderful day?
Yeah, getting up early for these time zone interviews, because of the time difference, I had to get up real early. Hello, everyone.
It happens a bit. I get up early for interviews as well. All right, so Michael, well, you've got the new album of the song This Is Tokyo, which is a bit of a tribute to Japan. What made the band want to pay a tribute to Japan?
Well, that's the guitarist who came up with that song, and he explained when he went there for the first time with his former band, Pink Cream, that made an impact on him, right? And all the years he would have wanted to, honor all the treatment and the way things worked out. And then when he came into Helloween and stuff, to memorize all this.
All right. So what countries have impressed you over the years you've been touring the world?
To tell the truth, each and every country has its habits and things and whatever. I like Japan. I like South America and all this. I like the United States, whatever it is. There's always people with their, culture, habits, tradition. That's a good thing. Interesting each time, wherever you go.
All right. And you've been to Australia twice, I believe.
Yeah, actually. And not that I knew. Well, yeah, it was twice or 3 times. It felt like 4 times, but it's probably been 2 times.
The press release for your new album says it's going to be your most versatile and dynamic release of your career. How does that work out?
I would hope they sent you a track list and stuff with composers and what the track names are and everything. Did they?
Not as yet. I'm still waiting for that.
Okay, that's too bad. We have an album that's called Giants and Monsters. The first track is called Giants on the Run. Next one, Savior of the World. The former one is like a Darius and Hansen composition. Darius did it and the Hansen put some parts in there. Savior of the World's been written by me. Little is a little too much. That's a Darius track. We Can Be Gods. That's a Hansen track. Into the Sun. That's a Darius track. This is Tokyo. The aforementioned is a Darius track. Universe Gravity for Hearts is a Sasha Gerstner track. Hand of God is another Sasha Gerstner track. And now I got to find it again because I clicked it off.
That's right.
There's Under the Moonlight, that's a track of mine, and the final one on that album is called Majestic, and it's a Hansen track.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so what track do you think stands out from all that list? What do we have most to look forward to?
I would say the album in general is a great one, and everyone in the world, will probably find a piece on there that he or she is going to like very much. So it's got a great variety from all kinds of, musical pools that we may have taken ideas from in the past and in the present. So, many of them tracks could easily be on the Keeper album or whatever, So, we've just been doing what we know. And it's been a collection of tracks, more or less, deemed so by the management and the 2 producers, because as a band, we wouldn't know, and we don't know, we don't want to have more infighting or stuff about, no, I like this track, blah, 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 blah. And so there's been a collection of what they said. And then we kind of said, now put things into a running order, which has also been done predominantly by them. And that's okay. We're a 7-piece band. We have the history, we have strong characters, and we wouldn't want to sit down to come up with a running order of tracks or whatever. We're glad we're functioning so fine, and we're all friends, and it's working out, and we don't want to risk that by getting into minor things like album whatever,
Absolutely. All right, so I've always felt a lot of Helloween stuff is very sort of positive and spiritual. Is that going to be more of that on this album?
Absolutely. As far as I know, we're not peddling any negative stuff. There's always that contrast in between. If we mention bad things or whatever, then we usually offer an alternative for what could be done instead or what would be better. Because I think as a songwriter, who writes lyrics, you bear a certain responsibility towards the fans. You can't just go out, tell them, to make a revolution or kill someone or whatever. I mean, that's really never ever a good thing. And I mean, there are bands and artists with pretty aggressive lyrics, yeah, and we try to keep things at a level that everybody knows what things could be all about, make up their minds about things in a peaceful manner and stuff, right? I mean, we're not that type of thrash or heavy metal aggressive band, never been.
Okay. Well, that sort of gets me thinking, so what sort of positive feedback have you had from fans of how you've been a good influence, maybe?
Oh, I mean, we've got so many messages or like little letters, Sometimes a letter reaches me, someone gave this to me, and then you have that little envelope and you go like, oh, what could this be? You take the piece of paper out and then it's printed on a computer, possibly, or it's handwritten. And it says, I've been through a very, very hard time, and I just wanted to tell you that your music or this or that other track in particular saved my life, and that's amazing. It's like a theatrical thing. Everyone could be cynical and go like, yeah, but doesn't that happen to any artist one or the other way or what? Yeah, but for me, that says much. Yeah, it says a lot. And so we helped one human being to get along well with reality or, save himself from a depression or other bad things or help them through a woeful situation. And this is amazing. Sometimes I don't even answer these people because they seem to have difficulties. And then it's also a bit dangerous, to maybe contact a person, maybe a bit psychopath or whatever. You never know. Or maybe it's just like very, very nice people. You can't tell. But I'm glad to have that input from these people telling me that's been so, And that's an amazing aspect of the whole career.
That's good to hear. All right, so you've had pretty much your 40th anniversary. How are you going to present that in live shows around the world? Is it going to be all the same songs for the set, or are you going to be variations?
Yeah, same old, but also some new tracks. 3 to 4 of the new album. Not quite sure how much it's going to be then in the end. And yeah, we came up with a set list and running order for the live situation, obviously. And that's the thing it's going to be. Naturally, I can't tell much about it right now, no? Because then it's no surprise anymore. And like in times of YouTube, it's going to be evident after the first show. People are going to spread, and they had this as a track list and stuff, right? And then, and this is so boring. Oh, this is so exciting. And yeah, that's the way it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be like all through the times with more or less from here, from there, Walls of Jericho, keeper tracks, 90s, 2000s. There's going to be a mix of what is achievable and doable. And hopefully, I mean, for the rest of the world, we're going to have like some LED visual support. I hope if we ever come to Australia again, we had that too, even though I think it wouldn't be so difficult to get these units built up. It's almost as if like nowadays you got to do this or you're not a real band or something. I don't know. But I personally must say these visual support screens and stuff on stage is not a bad thing. It's like more audio visual. And I mean, first time we did it, I was kind of impressed. And so then we had the honor of carrying on with a system like that, even in the US beforehand. And that's something to be proud of sometimes. If the programmers, they come up with great visual content, then everything is kind of impressive. And it feels good being on stage, having that, if it works, if it runs. And that's the way it's going to be, I think.
All right, well, sounds something to look forward to. So you mentioned the 90s there, and there was a bit of a wilderness period for metal. And what would you recommend people check out from the 90s, from Helloween, music-wise?
Well, basically all we did. I mean, there's even something that was called The Dark Ride, that I didn't approve of much because of I thought we were going like a direction like catering to the American way of doing music by that time as a necessity or something, but maybe not. I mean, the album as the product is pretty good. And there's been many people talking about that particular album, Dark Ride. Like, I've never liked Helloween. You were always too cheesy for my taste, but I love this record because it doesn't suck, right?
Yeah.
And so we've gone back to the regular Helloween way right after, because, well, if one like me or whatever is not really happy with the way things were going, then you obviously have to go the other way, like who you are, your own identity, and just present that to the world. And that's what we've done during all the 90s. Okay. And also coming up to the 2000s, it's been the same. I mean, we just did what we were supposed to do, basically. And these albums are all pretty similar. I mean, I sometimes couldn't even tell which track is from which album because I don't even remember them. But that's all recommendable if you never heard any of Helloween stuff. Okay. And we have a few generations who started out with like the first few records and then phased out or stayed with the band. And then there's been people who never heard anything about us, and they heard us first during the There Is Only era. And then you had the 2000s, you had the reunification tour with the 7 band members. Some people came only then and had to find out, so they've been doing all these records in the past. It's quite many meanwhile.
So what are the songs, what are the definite songs that have always got to be at a Helloween concert?
Oh, the regular ones. Like you have the Walls of Jericho, Ride the Sky, the Heavy Metal is the Law. You got the Keeper of the Seven Keys, you got the How Many Tears, you got the Future World, you got the I Want Out. I mean, these are the basic tracks that ought to be in the set list or not. But that's and Dr. Steen was like another thing.
I remember that, yes.
And this and that, bits and pieces, and always something over the years. There's always been something like Power or so, and Are You Metal? Yeah, I mean, so many tracks from in between to choose from. I mean, something there for everyone.
Yeah, because I can remember here in Australia, I remember buying your albums on vinyl back in the day in the 80s. They were actually they're expensive in Australia because I don't think you had a local distributor, and the import metal stores would actually stock all your stuff. So what can I remember? It was about $13 an album otherwise, but Helloween would cost something like $20 or something. But it was worth it. It was worth the money. Because I still love
absolutely. I mean, up to the and including the Rabbits Don't Come Easy, the vinyl versions, they sounded rich and warm and magic in comparison to the CD versions. But ever since direct metal mastering has been optimized and stuff, the record.
I've come across some obscure website in the United States that was listing cut versions of Helloween records during the late 80s, and it's been quite some quantities, like 60,000, 80,000 cut versions, right?
Wow.
Which probably never got delivered to the United States or as import too, right? You know, these cut versions, you don't have to pay the band any due or whatever if the cover is damaged or something. You know that trick, right?
You're in Berlin at the moment. I've been to Berlin. My sister was living there for a year.
Yeah. And then you know how hot the days can sometimes be, right? And I'm here on the balcony.
I came there, I think it was Unity Day was the day I was there. I think it's called a Unity Day. It's the celebration of when the wall fell. That's when I was there.
That? Oh, God, that must have been crazy. I saw it only on TV.
Yeah. All right. Well,
What was your feeling then? I mean, that
I
must
was
have been
sorry. It
unreal,
was
right?
actually in recent years. I was actually there. It was just a few years ago. My sister was living there, and so I saw where the wall had fallen and all that, and things like that. But personal discussion. But my father actually was expatriate German. He came to Australia in the 60s.
Yeah.
He came from.
I had an optician for my first contact lenses, right? Hard lenses, no soft lenses, like the first that worked. And they were about like 800 euros.
Mm.
And that optician, he opted to move to Australia in 82.
Okay.
He said, there's going to be a different optician from this point on. Let's try your lenses. If they suit you well, they should serve you for about 10 years or whatever. But I'm going to Australia, this things here in Germany are going down. He said in 82.
All right. I wonder what became of it. All right. So thanks for that. But I think you were one of the regarded as one of the founders of power metal. So did you think when you were starting out that you were starting a new type of metal?
To a certain degree, yes. Even though I think there was Judas Priest with Unleashed in the East, which was 79, and we had Accept Breaker, we had Rainbow, Light in the Black, and stuff like that. Faster songs, Kill the King or something. That also was power metal reminiscent already, right? But then in the form as we did it or so, I mean, yeah, that may be a new beginning or continuation of things. That's what I always say, even though I think the Judas Priest, they were pretty far ahead with their stuff, like Exciter and whatever they've done on the live album back then. That was more or less power metal already, wasn't it? No, but I'm proud if people say like we're the originators and the grandfathers. Fine, okay, we take the honor. But then I gotta say these things, no, rather than going like, yeah, because we're the greatest and we knew it, we knew it's going to be like that.
You mentioned Judas Priest. What sort of influenced you back in the day?
Well, I went to a hippie disco when I was that age, right? And I didn't even know it was like a new thing. It sounded so old-fashioned. I thought it was Ted Nugent, like they played Victim of Changes, right? And when I heard the guitars, I thought, hey, this must be Ted Nugent. That was a hippie disco where people went to listen to hard rock, right? And there was like the Alex Harvey, sensational Alex Harvey band. They played each and every bit you can consider cult, like Balance In for the Count and other things, but whatever was around by that time, say 78, 79, 80, 81, 82. And I remember how difficult it was, to wait for the next hard rock record to come out. Like you were going like, Gillan is going to do like a new solo record with his band, right? Oh, there's going to be Black Sabbath with Heaven and Hell. I hope my dad can bring me the vinyl like half a year earlier, a few months earlier from the UK when he goes there, because the distribution would have put it out later in Germany, like 2 months or something.
Mm.
And so he came back and brought me the Heaven and Hell. And those were the times it's like, oh, Whitesnake has Love Hunter. Right. And sometimes you had to wait half a year or 1 year in between before one of the major acts would come up with a new album, which then you would go and buy and try to like. And you were like, whenever. And that's then when the British invasion of new heavy metal, new whatever, new wave of British heavy metal took place. Yeah.
So power metal sort of continues. What of the new power metal bands do you like?
Actually, we have the Beast in Black. And I also enjoyed a lot the previous iteration of the songwriter of that band and guitarist and main member of the band. He had a band called Battle Beast beforehand. And as it seems, they fired him because of like, we can't work with that guy or whatever it was. And so they are the opener for most parts of our tour this time around.
Okay, so well, thanks for talking about it. I've tried to find a reference for this somewhere. Why was the band called Helloween and not Halloween?
Because, I mean, first of all, Ingo, a previous drummer, he suggested that name because we've seen those movies, those horror movies, no, Halloween.
Yes.
And then we didn't want to get mixed up with that. If people were going out to, oh, Helloween, I want to have the record, that they don't buy the soundtrack instead of our album, right? Because like we really needed that in the beginning. We needed sales and recognition and stuff. And yeah, we said, okay, if we don't put the E in there, then people are going to mistake it for the soundtrack or the other way around. That's not helpful. And we could say, okay, you can call this Hello, or you can catch some characters who think it's like death metal or something because of the Hell term. And then you can maybe convert them or tell them something else they wouldn't have expected. And we were just looking for a racy name, something like there was that American band called Hellenbeck by that time. And I said, like something like this, something that sounds wild, speedy, attractive. And he said, then why not Halloween? And we said, yeah, because it's a holiday. It's like if you were going out to call yourself Easter or Christmas or whatever, and then you go there with Halloween. We got to do something about it. There's got to be a slight change. And that's where the E came in, right? And then ever since you had the trouble with like religious fundamentalists who would say like we are of the devil and we're like a bad band and we're Satanists and stuff, which is utter bullshit. I mean, we've been more or less Catholic and Christians and nothing else.
Well, thanks very much for talking to us.
Yes, and sorry about the interruption. It took so long.
These things happen. All right, well, hopefully we'll see you back in Australia, and I'll certainly be checking out and playing the new album. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and thanks for your benevolent interest, and thanks to the listeners, or what is it? Listeners. Hey, listeners. Thank you.